Hello, 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 guys. Welcome to this live broadcast. Welcome to Workouts for Older Men Live. I am so glad you are here joining me. Happy New Year. It's good to have you here, and I am looking forward to our continuing journey. Just two men, you and me, a little bit older. We have busy lives. We put a high priority on fitness. I really look forward to going on this journey with you throughout 2019, and I really appreciate you joining me for our show, Workouts for Older Men Live, in the past year and all the time that you've been with me. Some of you guys have been with me for 20 years. We've been doing this, right? Following my career as a six-time national champion. But I tell you this, I'm really so excited. There's so many men being introduced to this passion, this energy, my message, how to be effective and efficient when you're a little bit older with busy, productive lives. So many men, winners. I'm so thankful that you found me. We found each other. You're winners in life. You have a great family life that you've worked hard for, a great business life. You have your own business. Maybe you're in a management leadership position, and maybe you used to really take care of yourself, really spend that time in the gym before you took on all the responsibility, and now you're back. Welcome back. Some of you guys, you took care of all that while I was, stopping, training, eating, sleeping, winning contests for so many years. You were taking care of business, and now you're here putting fitness as a very high priority. Hey, I am now here with you, and I want to share with you what I learned, the most effective and efficient strategies, not going overboard. I mean, there's so much information out there. I know that you know that. When it comes to fitness, so much overwhelm, so much confusion. If you could just get the right answers, right? Why does it have to be so complicated? Especially you. You're a winner. You're successful in life. Why does this fitness thing have to be so complicated? Well, I want to help you from our perspective. The 80-20 rule. I mean, there's out there preaching on the internet, do these 100 things. And the younger, passionate fitness experts, I mean, it's their life. It's everything they think about. It's their identity. Good for them. Man, I remember what that was like, right? And they're telling you all 100 things, so to speak, are so important. You have to do them all. And you know what? If you're like most men, you look in the mirror and, you're putting in the work, you're dedicated, watching your training and eating. I mean, guys your age, they don't even work out, right? They don't put in the effort. You're a lot better than them. But you want to look a lot better. You look in the mirror and think, I should be getting a lot more than this. A lot more muscle, less body fat. For all this effort that I'm putting in. And, with the younger, passionate fitness experts telling you got to do all 100 things, so to speak, and they're all important, you're wondering, well, is it maybe because I didn't do this? Maybe it's my training routine. Maybe I'm overtraining. Maybe I'm undertraining. Maybe it's that my carbs at night or whatever it may be. You're confused. Well, just like in most things in life, there's 20 things, so to speak, out of those 100 that make the biggest impact. That you need to double down, triple down, cross every I, dot every T, totally follow through with those 20 things, and that'll have the biggest impact. A lot of those things, 21 through 100, so to speak, you really don't have to do. And that's what I've learned, and that's what I want to share with this 80-20 rule. When you're a busy man, productive life, you're a little bit older, trying to make sense out of all this information. That's why I come to you. That's what this is all about. Welcome to Workouts for Older Men Live. Hey, if you are watching this live, go ahead and post your comments, your questions, your suggestions down below. Maybe at the end of this broadcast, I'm going to acknowledge you for being here. Hello, Mike, Vasil. Happy New Year, Robbie. Mark, Zama, Tim, Ivan, Seth, Samir, Yosef, Avandro, Sean, Dale, good to have you here. Pete, Robert, good to have you here. Musashi. All right, I'm going to acknowledge you, whether I do it at the end of this live broadcast, during this live broadcast, when I log off, all throughout the day, all throughout the week. I want to make this interactive, all right? So if you're watching me on Facebook, at Skip Lacour page, or if you're watching me on YouTube, I love you guys on YouTube. YouTube community is growing very quickly, very passionately. So glad you guys are here. I'm so glad we found each other. Go ahead and post your comments, your questions, and suggestions down below. In this video, I want to talk about how to get a flat stomach when you're an older man. All right, so in this video, I want to talk about how to get a flat stomach. Many of the men who watch Workouts for Older Men Live and follow this message, you know, they're working out in the gym. I mean, they look pretty good, definitely better than the other men their age, right? But those guys aren't really working out. They got the arms, you know, they're lean, legs looking good, but the stubborn fat around the midsection, right? So there's so many things to consider. You see me doing some crunches with the weights there. I'm going to do another set here while other driven, ambitious men come onto this live broadcast. Right? So you know about the exercise. What's the right exercise routine? Hear about so much about diet, right? Diet to show those abs. And there's so much to think about when it comes to your diet, right? So much confusion, so much overwhelm. A lot of you guys, you know, I know it's like, maybe it's you. You got the training down, you're passionate, you're willing to put in the work. It's just that diet. You don't know where to start. It's overwhelming. Right? But all that is going to contribute to have that flat stomach. And in this video, I could probably talk about it for 2 hours, right? So I talk to my one-on-one coaching students all about how to make sense of all this. But I want to give you some non-negotiables, right? Absolutely must do out of all those strategies if you're a little bit older, you have a busy, productive life, and you want to earn a flat stomach. I'm going to talk about that, you know. I'm going to give you some organizing principles, non-negotiable must do if you want to have that flat stomach when you're a little bit older and you have that busy, productive life. So I'm going to do another set here, guys. I'm going to come back. Make sure you post your comments, your questions, and suggestions down below. All right, guys, the new year is here. I am fired up. I have so many men who have already joined my 12-week fitness transformation journey. It's going to be starting a little bit later this month, but we had a lot of ambitious men already start. I know I saw Bobby's here, right? And so this is 12 weeks, but it's not just some generic posted 12-week transformation contest, some cookie cutter that everybody follows the same thing. You know, I want real lasting change. And you know how I do things. I love the personal connection, so I can kind of talk you through what you know, build upon what you know, dispel all these things that are confusing you and get you straight. It starts with 3 1-hour private one-on-one coaching sessions with me on the phone. First, we get our goal setting session, 1 hour, that's recorded. And then the second session is all about training, right? Get all these things and what's going to take for you to feel certain and confident with your training routine. The third week and the third call, all these calls are recorded, so you have them forever. You're going to learn from them over and over and over again. Months from now, even a year from now, when you hear about our conversation, when you grow and expand. The third conversation, or third coaching session, is about nutrition. All right, we're going to get that down. I'm going to give you the organizing principles, what you need to know, create a diet that is specifically designed for you. All right, then I stay in contact with you every week up until when we start our 12-week journey. Right, you get so many bonuses. In addition to my courses, I'm starting an online daily journal that I'm going to show you guys, but it's just going to be for all the men who join this 12-week transformation. You're going to see all my training routines, my particular diet, my ups and downs and all arounds, all documented in this daily training routine. That's an added bonus to my guys who sign up for this 12-week fitness transformation journey for older guys with a busy, productive life. Go to skiplacour.com/transformation. So later on this month, we start a 12-week journey. 3 months with me. 3 months. Every week we have a conference where we all join. I'm going to break it down. You'll know that 80-20, how it applies to you by the time we're done. And I'm going to pace you, guide you. You know, there's a saying that says, a mind once expanded can never go back to its original form. Meaning once you understand a concept, right, once you've lived a life, you'll never want to go back to how you used to be. You know, I say a body once expanded. Once you know how to train and eat, and you know how it feels to be in control of your body and be certain and confident, you'll never go back to the way you are. And that's the real lasting change in this 12-week fitness transformation journey for older men with busy, productive lives. 12 conference calls. You get the recordings if you can't make it live. But the best thing about it, we talk 10 or 20 minutes every single week throughout the journey. It's real connection, all right? Real lasting change. Go to skiplacour.com/transformation. There's still time. We can start our coaching calls right away. Right? If you're at all interested, fill out that form. I'll talk to you. I'll call you on the phone, see if it's a good fit for you. But you really want this. New year, let's make this happen. All right, in this video, I want to talk about how to get a flat stomach when you're an older man with a busy, productive life. Right? The men who I deal with, right? Maybe they're just getting into the fitness, but they're serious about it. You know, they're taking it seriously. They're successful in business and life. They're winners. And they're trying to speed up the process to understand this fitness, and that's where they come to me. Right? So I've talked to hundreds and hundreds. If I've talked to you on the phone, you know, go ahead and just post it down below, right? I live and breathe, and I love the internet. I love these live broadcasts, as you can see. But how I learn, I put in my 10,000 hours. If you, Malcolm Gladwell, right? If you heard his book, To Become a True Master, you got to put in your 10,000 hours of mastery. I put that in over these 30 years in fitness, but I talk to you guys. A lot of times, guys just sign up for my mailing list for older men. I'll just welcome phone call, and we get into conversations. That's how I know the information that you need, right? I put in my time as your coach and as your friend, right? So I know the struggle. So you're doing better than most, right? Everybody, you appreciate what you're doing. You're a lot better off than the men your age, but you're putting in the work, and you just want to see more. The biggest challenge is that midsection, just how to get a flat stomach. You know, I've produced videos. They're on social media about how to get a six-pack, right? But what I've realized is some of us just want to get that flat stomach. Everything else is looking good. We can just get that flat stomach. What are the challenges there, right? So you see me doing some ab exercises, right? Those weighted crunches. And a lot of guys think, you know, that do sit-ups every single day. What's the right ab routine in the gym to get that flat stomach? Now, let me just tell you something. You do exercise like I've done before. You know, I've got all kinds of routines for you. And when you join my 12-week fitness transformation, you have plenty of routines for the rest of your life, right, that I'll give you. But it's not going to be in the training routine that's going to give you the flat abs. You're going to build that muscle when you train it 3 times a week, twice a week, once a week, every single day. You know, those crunches that you do, all the weighted work, even all your training, when you tighten your core, right, that's going to build that muscle. But if you have that body fat, you're never going to get that flat stomach. And I know many of you guys say, Skip, I know it's nutrition, right? I've learned at this level that, you know, those exercises help, but it's my nutrition. Hey, 80% nutrition, 20% training, right? I know what it takes, but I do watch what I eat, right? But I still can't get that flat stomach, right? There are some questions that really smart guys, really dedicated guys, there's some things that they're missing. So I want to tell you 3 things. If you really want that flat stomach, if you want to earn it, there are some non-negotiables, right? Absolute must that you must know and you must execute. Right now, I talk a lot about the extreme strategies, you know, where the younger fitness experts who that's all they think about. It's their identity. They talk about all 100 things that you have to do. And some aren't important, some are, and you're just confused. You're trying to do everything, can't fit it all in. Maybe you're not even getting yourself going, right? So I am not talking, to have that flat stomach, you got to have a meal prep Sunday where every single Sunday you're preparing your meals for the entire week. I'm not saying you got to have plastic containers and pack your food everywhere you go, even when you go to a restaurant, even with your friends. I'm not saying any of that extreme behavior, right? I'm not even saying you got to stop and eat in strategically 2 to 3 hour increments, like, you know, what I was taught and what I did in the past. All those extreme measures. Oh, that's what it takes. You know, it doesn't. I'm not even telling you, you don't even have to break them in smaller, more frequent meals, 6 meals, right? I am not telling you those extreme things that you have to do to have that flat stomach that you may hear. That may be overwhelming you. But there are some things you definitely have to do. Again, they're not negotiable. If you want to be, you're already in the top, probably 20% of men your age, but you want to get in that elite status. You want to get closer to me. Okay, so these are some things that you're just going to have to do. It's just the price you're going to pay, the rite of passage, the rite of admission to have the body that you want if you just can't get that flat stomach and you think you're training hard and watching your diet. The first thing is you got to know how many calories that you eat. You just have to, right? I know that you hear these things like, oh, you can't worry about calories, just eat right, right? That's for people, like most of the nutrition information is for people who are really overweight. They're not that determined. They're not that focused yet. They're trying to just ease them in. Give them simple strategies that maybe they'll stick to. You're not at that point, and that's where most of the information is. So when you hear that you don't have to care about how many calories that you eat, it's just not true. You have to have a starting point. Here I am in the San Francisco Bay Area. If I want to get into New York City, I got to know where I'm starting from to get there. All right? When we want to eat the right foods and we want to eat in the most efficient manner for our body to lose that fat, to get that flat stomach, we have to have a starting point. You have to know how many calories you eat. And again, I know you can count your macros, but counting your macros and counting your calories, just to let you know if you're confused, it's really the same thing. If you count your macros, all you're just not doing is you're not extending the arithmetic, times 4 for the protein, times 4 for the carbohydrates, times 9 for the fats equaling the calories. So, you're counting your calories when you're counting your macros, just a few steps less in the arithmetic, right? But it's the same thing. We got to get a measure of where we are, right? You know that you have to eat in a caloric deficit, finding what your metabolic rate, that's just something that you just can't get from a computer, right? Or an app. It can just guesstimate. It's always going to guesstimate low. So we get those people who just need to lose weight. They're 30 pounds overweight. It's not going to work for you, right? But we have to have a starting point, right? Who knows? You might start at 2,000 calories, 2,500 calories, 2,700 calories. A man like you who's dedicated to training and eating right to have that body that's in the top 10%, even though you're a little bit older, this is what you're going to have to do. We got to get that baseline. All right, so you got to know how many calories you're eating, at least for a period of time, right? That's not negotiable. So if you called me and said, Skip, I can't get this flat stomach, right? I do this exercise, I watch what I eat, here's my diet, and all. And if I ask you, how many calories are you eating? And you don't know, you're not in the game yet. It's non-negotiable. You have to know this, all right? Regardless of whatever you've heard. That's the starting point. We have to build upon there. I'm not saying you have to weigh food every single day, measure out food in portions. I'm not saying you have to do all that, right? Not the extreme measures, but you have to know how many calories that you eat. Here's one other thing that if you don't have the flat stomach that you want, if you don't have the body you want, if you're not lean enough, and you know what to do, you're just maybe not doing it enough. A lot of times what I get from guys is that they believe that their standards are high enough. And what I mean with it, not necessarily quality food, they stick to their diet, but it's just they don't stick to their diet as often as they need to. All right, so by that, what I mean is like 7 days out of the week, right? I don't know, whatever it is you want, right? Are you going to eat in the way you should to have that body all 7 days? 6 days, 5 days, 4 days, 3 days, right? if you're not getting what you want, you have to raise your standards. So if it's 3 days right now where you eat perfect, you execute it properly, you got to raise your standards. It's all about standards, right? Other thing is we have to eat those calories that you come up with, at least at this point. We got to eat them consistently, right? We can't go up and down like 400 calories more sometimes, 300 to 400 calories under sometimes. We can't wave around. We got to be consistent, again, those standards. Where we eat the quality foods, we stick to our diet, we have that caloric intake so our body gets used to what we're doing. We have to have those higher standards. And one other point, as I could break this down for 3 hours, but one other non-negotiable point is that what I found the most successful men, they eat the same foods probably good 60 to 70% of the time of all those meals that they ate. Just if they eat 5 meals a day, 7 days a week, right? That's a lot of meals, right? About 60, 70% are the same foods, the ones that work, right? You know what I eat in the morning all the time, I've probably eaten it for, I don't even know, a couple of years, is I'll eat scrambled eggs, white rice, and guacamole, right? I don't look at food, and most of the men who really do this, they don't look at every single meal as this entertainment, source of entertainment 5 days, 5 times a day. What do I want it to taste like, right? They really settle down on the foods, the meals that work, all right? At least 60 to 70% of them. That's just the rite of passage, right? They don't spend so much time creating a different menu all the time. All right, so I don't know where you are. If that's, when you get in this habit, you look forward to those meals, even though they're the same things. And then they save those, 40, 30% of the meals at night when with their family to connect on business lunches or business meetings or the weekends with their families, right? I'm not talking about extreme measures, but if you really want to have that flat stomach, the meals that work, that fit in your macronutrient ratio, within your caloric intake for the day, right? 60% or so, 60, 70% are the same old meals, right? That's just what I've learned from the most successful people. So I can go on. Nutrition, as you know, is a complex topic, those things. But I'll tell you, if you are putting the effort into the gym, you are watching what you eat, you look better than most, you're a little bit older, this is a high priority for you. Those are 3 things that are not negotiable. They are basic organizing principles that you absolutely must do. You have to know how many calories you're eating. You have to have high standards if you're not doing it, eating those calories on a consistent basis, eating that way on a consistent basis. If you're doing it for 5 days out of 7, and that's not making it, you got to raise your standards. It may be 6, it may be 7. It may be 13 out of 14 days. You got to have those high standards. And the vast majority of your meals, maybe 60 to 70%, are the meals that work. They're not some source of entertainment or just tasty meals. They're the meals that work, and you save those enjoyable meals, the creativity, the entertainment for nights, for weekends, for business trips, those times with your families. All right. So those are just some organizing principles when it comes to earning that flat stomach. Again, you're not going to get it from your training routine. That's going to build that muscle, even if you do it every day, even if you have 5 plates when you're doing the weight, all right? It's just going to build that muscle underneath. It's not going to show. It's still going to be covered with that fat, and those are some things you just got to know. All right, guys, like I said, if you're at all interested, I've got so many driven, ambitious men joining me for my 12-week fitness transformation journey. Just start the journal. You can see a post down below. You can go to skiplacouremembers.com/journal. You'll see this is going to be available. My day-to-day actions. You see what I had this plan, this particular live broadcast plan. You see what I have planned for my days, my workouts is all going to be broke down for the entire 3 months, 12 weeks. So you see how I fit it all in. Give you some guidance, information, inspiration, and some entertainment over this journey. All right, so let me say hello, make sure I get you everybody here. Ron, good to have you here. Mike is watching. Steve, Happy New Year. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're getting value out of the tips, Steve. Steve, we've been together for a very long time. Rob, Happy New Year to you and your family. Same to you, Rob. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to you and your family. Darren, Happy New Year to all. Happy New Year, Darren. Bob is watching. Good to have you here, Rob. Great conversation on the phone yesterday on nutrition, Coach. Thanks. So Robert has joined our journey, our 12-week transformation journey. Again, we start right away. So when you sign up, when you go to skiplacour.com/transformation, you fill out that questionnaire, I talk, we see if it's a good fit for you. We'll start your one-on-one coaching with me, not an assistant, not just send you to a website or some videos. We talk for hours, and we make this happen. Good to have you here, Robert. Hello, Gary. Happy New Year to you. Alexander. Hello, Mustafa. Good to have you here. Lucas, Happy New Year. Zalma says, stomach is my biggest struggle. I'm doing every 100 things that everyone says, and I must not be doing right. Yeah, that's very common, Zalma. There's so much information out there. Again, what are the 20 things that really matter? That's where you put all of your effort. That's where you're consistent. It's very common, Zuma, because you hear all these things. And again, it's very common to look in the mirror and think, I should be getting more. It's very common, right? And so you hear about all these 100 things. Well, is it because I'm not doing this? Is it because I'm not doing this? And sometimes we pick and choose. We keep things that we don't need, and we dump the things that are those core things that you need to do. Maybe I've shared some of those core things, Zuma, that you need to do that you've been neglecting because it's got lost in all the 100 things that you're trying to do. Junior, hello, good to have you here. Mike, do you cross an I? How do you cross an I and dot a T? Well, what I mean is you're thorough. You do the things that you need to do, right? So if you know you got to follow through with your diet and your training, you got to give a certain amount of effort, right? All the details, right? And that's just a phrase there. You dot every I and you cross every T. You're detail-oriented on the things that you need to do, right? I hope that clears that up. Sometimes I throw out these phrases that I just assume everybody knows, right? So I hope that clears that up. Mike, Vasal, Robbie, good to have you here from D.C. All right, Mark, Tim, good to have you here. M from Pakistan, good to have you here. Sif. All right, guys. All right. So again, I want to talk to you. Go to skiplacour.com/transformation. Let's get this started. Join the driven, ambitious men just like you. I'm looking forward to it. You still have time. Again, space is limited. Fill out that questionnaire. I'll actually talk to you personally whether it's a good fit or not. So if you're at all interested, go there. I'll enjoy talking to you. All right, guys. So, hey, got more time behind us than we do in front of us. If you're a man who's a little bit older with a busy, productive life, right? Got to attack this life, attack the new year with a sense of urgency. Right? We got to eat, we got to train, we got to dot every I, cross every T, right? With a sense of urgency. We got to produce for our families on the job. We got to love and connect. Got to just live life. Your legacy is at stake. We got to make it happen. Now is the time. We got to live with that sense of urgency. All right, guys, have a great day. Have an outstanding day. Have an awesome day. Think big and think bigger than getting bigger.